All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to this lesson. Now, this lesson is the start of your design brief for the remainder of this course. What that means is we are now going to combine everything we've learned so far from the beginner's course to this drapery course, and we're now going to create somewhat of a character. The brief is going to be to design a witch or wizard character with, of course, a lot of clothing and material. Now we're going to do this based on a mannequin. So I say somewhat of a character design because we're not going to bother ourselves with anything like anatomy or even facial expression. If you are a little bit more advanced, you can, of course, add these details later, but that's not the point of this assignment going forward. We are going to be focusing on finding a correct pose for our mannequin and then dressing that mannequin to represent either a witch or wizard character. So this is going to be a lot of fun, and the cool thing about this is that we only need to focus on getting pose and getting the clothing right and getting the clothing to match what the pose is doing, right? That's basically why we designed this course. Also, of course, to enhance your spatial awareness and your grasp on organic forms and folding. So all of that good stuff is now going to be combined into these last couple of lessons. Now, your assignment for this lesson is to gather a mood board or a reference board. Now, I'm not going to let you just pick and choose whatever you want. I'm going to give you the same assignment that I give people in the Dragon course over on the Proco website, which is I want you to segment your mood board into 4 sections, which is basically what I do almost every time when I create a reference board or a mood board for something that I want to design. So the first section is going to be functional. This is going to include everything that you want your character to wear that is going to represent what they do or how they act, right? So if this is for let's say a creature design, it's going to be more based on where does this creature live, how do they eat, all of those things combined creates a functional design. Now, of course, when it comes to character, especially with a focus on clothing and costuming, it's going to be more like, what are they wearing to do their everyday things, to use their powers, where do they come from, what era do they live in? All of those things are going to define what the functionality of your character is. Then the second portion, which is intertwinable with function, but equally important, is design. And now when we talk about design, it's more about the shape language that we want to use for this character design. Now we're not going to yet concern ourselves too much with specific shape language like we would do for concept art specifically, but we are already going to add things that sort of define the shape language for the character that we want to create. And again, this has to do with the era they live in, what kind of character it is. This is also important and does have to do with shape language. What I mean by that is if we have, let's say, an evil witch, we might want to use clothing that is a little bit more gothic or dark or triangular and sharp. If we want to create a softer, more friendly witch or wizard, we might want to change up that color palette. We might want to change up the material of the clothing. So all of these things are going to contribute in the design portion. So again, you're going to have a functional section and a design section. Then next up, you're going to create an inspirational board. And the inspirational board is usually consists of things from other artists or just references that really give you the inspiration to create your witch or wizard. So a lot of the times, for me at least, this consists of a handful of pictures from artists I really admire or designs I found online that I really think are fitting for what I want. They usually have nothing to do with how we want to dress the character or even how we want to design them. It's more about having inspirational designs to look at that give us literally the inspiration to design our character the way we want. And this can this can be related to posing, or what kind of material the artists are using, or maybe the color palette that they're using. All of these things can, of course, contribute, but we're not going to mimic this, at least, especially not one. But we do want to have this inspirational board to give us literally the inspiration to start designing our character. And then the last section is detailing. Now, detailing, of course, is only important when we start literally detailing the character. So this only comes at the end of the design, but still we want to create a separate section for intrinsic details that will add interest and add believability to the designs that we're making. So for instance, when I do this for the dragon course, the detailing will be more on scaling and, what kind of skin I want to give my dragon, maybe what kind of patterning I would like. And so these things will also be the same in the clothing assignment, where we want to have pattern details, material callouts, maybe, intrinsic accessories. All of these things can contribute to adding another layer of interest and detail and rendering to our design. But again, that's only for the last portion of our design assignment, but it's a very important one. So to recap, we want to have a functional section, we want to have a design section, we want to have an inspirational section, and a detailing section. And what's important to remember is that I only want you to grab a maximum of 5 pictures per section. So that means that you can only have a total of 20 photos or reference pictures or whatever in that mood board. I want you to start learning to limit your options, because this is crucially important when you become a designer. You want to work within the boundaries that you set for yourself. It's very easy to get lost in reference and look up more reference and start picking and choosing from different things, and then the next day you see something you like even more and you start picking that. But all you're actually doing is almost delaying your opportunity to finish the design and get into your design flow. You're really delaying that process by always adding more visual information. And we don't want to do that. We want to start with a fixed mood board and work within what we have. This is usually where creativity shines. So I want you to do that as well. So stick to maximum of 5 pictures per section, right? So that's all your assignment is for this lesson. Just create that mood board with the 4 sections that I mentioned, and then you can move on to the next lesson. Have fun, everyone, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.